Hey. Oh gosh, I hit live and I forgot we went live. Hey, what's up, Tommy? I don't know who else is in here yet. I'm not getting any kind of read yet. Looks like there are 4 other people. But how are you, Tommy? Good to see you. Yeah, there was something I was going to say to you too. Well, anyway, we're just starting up right now. Tom's about to go live on the radio side, which is TNCRadio.LiVE, or download the app. And if you guys know how Friday works, it's a little bit different. Tom will say when we're going to go to radio break. This won't stop, but that's when I can read the comments. Otherwise, I'm going to be focused on Tom. So if you're leaving comments and I'm not replying, please just know that it's only because I'm not seeing them. I'm sure if there's some kind of emergency text, maybe Tom will tell me and I'll check it out. But it's better if I don't look, guys. It's just I do because we've been doing the radio show for almost a year now. Is that right, Tom? A year?
Yeah. This week is a year. It's either this week or next week. It's a year.
Is it a year?
Yeah, I looked at it last time, and I just don't remember what the date.
I mean, if it's not, you're right. It's so close. I don't know. We got to be right there.
Let's for the purposes of tonight, let's say it's a year.
A year tonight. Was it September? No, it was September.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was September. That's right. What's up, Tommy, again? What's up, Joe from Detroit? Let's play Doordash. What's up, Crispy Nuggets? It's glad to see you back to your normal name. You always have a different name every time I see you. And hi, Daphne. How are you? Good to see all you guys. Hey, if all you guys are not familiar with how we do Friday, this is Tom Kelly on the side here. And Tom is in Houston, and he does the radio side. So we've been doing the radio show for a year now. And when he says, we're going to go live, you'll be able to tell. And then when he says we're going to go to commercial break, that's when I will jump into the comments and take a look. So I am not ignoring anybody. I just close the comments to focus on the radio side, as I have for the last year with him on his radio station, which, if you haven't checked out, is 24/7, 365. There's stuff going on that channel: music, shows, news, weather. What else you got, Tom?
You got it. You got it.
Did I forget any? Traffic.
Yeah.
He'll and not just for Houston. Like he'll talk about any kind of major traffic stuff. So, just an all around good station. If you're ever just looking, it's you can just get anywhere, TNCRadio.LiVE, or you can even, if you end up liking it, download the app.
Yeah, for sure. We've been kind of blowing up here this week, so it's been good. Lots of new listeners, lots of growth. So that's always a good thing.
Yeah, guys, there's a lot. It's not like a lot of these YouTube channels that we frequent. His channel is night and day different. A lot of trucker stuff, good music, different shows all the time. So like it's shaking up all the time. So you were on a strike from what? Your name, Crispy? Well, that's not. I guess that's your handle anyway. But that's been your handle since I've known you. In like the last month, I've seen you probably have about 15 different names. I think every day you log in, you're a different name. But I think it's funny. As long as you keep your avatar, I'll always know it's you, kind of thing. And I know you do that. So, and Daphne, is this a picture of you? I can't figure it out because that's a new one. And I can't see it good enough. So, but I should probably ask too, if this is a picture of you, was the last one a picture of you too? Yes, that's me. Good. So the last one was you too, right? Okay, because I saw similarities and I was like, that's her. It's just a new picture. It's the Sapia. Okay. So, Light. Hey, Light, you had a question about Solo. if you after we get this show going a little bit, and after Tom gets the radio side going, again, I won't be looking at comments here for a few. But when we go to commercial break on the radio side, that's when I look at comments. I can probably drop a link and bring you on if you want to ask the question about solo. Happy to answer that.
Or you can dial in at 706 TNC 0. That's 706-862-8620.
Is that right? Right here?
You got it right. All right, here we go. We're starting off on the radio side here.
All right, closing the comments, guys.
3,
I'll be back in a bit.
1. Welcome in TNCRadio.LiVE. It's a Friday night, and that means we're turning our attention to all things around the gig economy. This is Driver Nation. I'm Tom Kelly along with Steve from Rideshare Rodeo. We're going to be with you, and we got several people joining us already on the YouTube. We simulcast on YouTube. You can go to YouTube and look for Rideshare Rodeo. You can see our smiling faces. Yay. Or you can just continue to listen right here on TNCRadio.LiVE. If you're joining us for the first time, you want to listen to us just over the media, you can download the app, TNCRadio.LiVE, from the Google Play Store, Apple Store. Go to our website. There's a bunch of different ways to download the app. Makes it really easy to listen to us. And we got a few other things in there, including, Steve, starting Friday when we do this show. During the show, I will give out 4 key words that if you go to our website or go to our app and enter those 4 keywords along with your information, you will be in a drawing to win $1,000. And then after we give away,
he's not kidding, guys. He did this last year too. So
after we give away $1,000, you know what we do? We give away another $1,000. So 2 $1,000 chances each night when we're doing this. So jump in. Hey, doesn't hurt anything. Worst case, I mean, that's a pretty easy way to make $1,000. So join with us then, and get $1,000. Had a winner on it. Now, see what I do. The way I do this, Steve, is I've joined with a bunch of other radio stations. We all pull our money. And so let's see. So over 30 days, we give away $2,000 a day. So we pooled our money. We had about $60,000. So we'll give away $60,000, in the pool here. And all the radio stations are, doing it the same way. The thing is that when you go to one of my websites or my app or whatever, you get attached to this one. And then that way, they actually send me the $1,000, then I cut you $1,000 check. And
I understand how it works when radio stations do that. I mean, it's the same. And to me, man, it's just different levels of, you've been doing this a long time. It's just different levels of collaborating, and just that's the only way you can make those work is to do it that way. Otherwise, there's just no way. Yeah.
So we're excited. We love doing it. The contest actually kicks off at midnight Houston time this coming Sunday night, Monday morning, however you want to look at that. And so the words will start going out about that time, and we put out the words throughout the day, throughout the broadcast day. So jump in and find out what the words are, put them in, and make yourself a little extra money.
Oh, I was just about to make a banner here. Did Jason Thierry say he wasn't going to make it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you knew that. Yeah, no, Jason, they've got their picnic tomorrow, so he's too busy. So he'll be here next week. Okay.
Because that's what I was doing. By the way, I wasn't looking at comments. I was texting Jason to say, and Jesper. I texted them both. So where are you?
Yeah. No, they'll be here next time.
No, they're texting me right back right now. It says that we have the picnic tomorrow. We have people in from out of town. It would be too difficult. I get it. Yeah. I guess I just kind of forgot or something. With Jason, I just got to kind of remember he's the wild card, man. He's the wild card. You know, you got to have one, I guess. So.
Yeah. Good old Jason. Hey, so let's take a minute and say hi to people who are popping up here on the chat. Hey, Tommy. Hey, let's play Doordash. Crispy Nuggets. Hello, Daphne. Hello.
I should probably jump over to help him.
Yeah.
Yep. That guy's name is Joe. I think he's jumped on here with us before. He's from Detroit.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
That's Let's Play Doordash. Yeah, that's him.
We got Brian here too. So hey, Brian. So great to have you all with us.
Yep.
So we got people joining up all over. One of the interesting things that happens in the world of YouTube is you got to be careful what you say. And it doesn't matter who says it. So overnight, 5 nights a week, we have the Steve Summer Overnight Drive. Steve he's a conservative. He's not ultra conservative, but he's a conservative. But Steve, regardless of who calls in, the show was about truck drivers talking to each other. Okay. And so they come in sometimes complaining and, sometimes.
Was this live streaming?
Yeah.
Okay.
And sometimes they complain about things like truck parking or whatever. I always say that truck drivers are great at 2 things. Number 1, telling stories, and number 2, complaining. They're just great at both things. And so they call up, and mostly Steve, and it sounds like I'm picking on him, and I don't mean this in a bad way at all. Steve's response to most everything anybody says is, yeah. Mm-hmm. He just lets people talk. Okay. And sometimes they say some crazy.
He's a listener.
But, he's a listener. Yeah, but they say some crazy. I was driving along and the UFO came right over my cab, and it's like, okay, we're not here to argue it all. Somebody called and said something pro-Trump or whatever, so Steve got suspended for a week.
No warning.
They dropped him a note today and said, "Oh, by the way, you said one of your callers said something on August the 11th. So here's another 2-week suspension for that."
So usually they give you a warning, or I know they give you a warning. So I'm telling you, he's already had one, and he just from another instance, I don't know what it is, but he's already had one because they give you a warning first.
Oh no, yeah, but so this is. Yeah,
this is now. Yeah, I get it. So now he has that, but usually they allow you to still go in and trim it out, the portions of the video. Did they take the whole video down, or did they
take the whole video down and suspended him for a week?
And they didn't even move it to private so that you can still. Okay.
Nope, they took it down, and then they took it down again. Another one took down. Today they found one from August 11th. So somebody on the YouTube side looking for it. So what can you do?
So I had to reset.
Yeah, you look frozen.
Resetting.
There we go. There you are. You and your fantastic internet.
Actually, it's going to change. It's going to change next week.
Oh, okay.
And here's why, because I don't know. I know I've told you. I kind of you and I've gotten used to hearing each other's air conditioners in the background because we got those kind of mobile units. And but now it's getting cold enough so in the summer, because we don't have AC in this house, there's no way to cool our living room. No way. My son in my house, you can't do it. It is as hot in there as it is outside. It's the worst room in the house. So we just avoid it like the plague. Well, now it's to the temperature where I can be in there, and it puts me I can even run a cable to be on internet from the router. I'll be that close. So right now I'm in the farthest distance in the house, but next week I will be and I'll have a better backdrop. Not that it sucks, but you can have high-speed connected internet right now if you want to. I do. I'm just so far away from it.
No, but if you run it through your electricity instead of through Wi-Fi.
Well, I've seen. You mean like those plug things that
you plug one in?
Yeah.
Right now, and you just plug the high-speed wire in there, and then you do the same thing on the server side, and it works great. unless your house.
That's what I was going to say, though. Does it work great?
Yeah, unless your house is so old that you're like backfeeding your electricity and you have gaps across your board or something like that, which, some houses are that old, but, if your house is 50 years old,
my when I was married, I was in a house in Denver in the historic district that was built in 1892.
Oh, yeah.
And it was awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Everything was sketchy in there, though. Like, we had electricians come in who were like, you need to get a better electrician than me because I'm not touching that.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, like, funny, almost comical, dude. But anyway, now I'm in a house. So I live in Stapleton, which is renamed Central Park. Stapleton, as you know, is the old airport for Denver before the new one was built. So that's where I am. And now the airport's 15 miles past. So these houses were built with double pane windows in the, what would that be, this early 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be about what you're talking.
No,
it's not as bad as my 1800s home. Man, I sound old when I'm talking this way. But it's it's still, it's not up to date.
Gotcha. Well,
it's not a smart home, but it's not a dumb home.
Yeah, it would be worth the trouble for you, though. I mean, it would improve your connection so much.
Yeah, I think that when I'm back out there, things are going to be tight again. And if they're not, I'm just going to actually pay for an upgrade anyway. Or you know how it works, Tom. If I call, because I'm not with Comcast out here. So when you're not with Comcast, one really cool thing, because I've been with CenturyLink for a while, but if you're not with Comcast, you are in such a good position when you've ended your contract, and mine ended like 6 months ago. So I'm going to be like, yeah, I either want the upgrade at no charge.
Yeah.
Or I think I'm going to go to Comcast. And I think that I'm in a position, because I had a 2-year contract. Nobody lives them through. I did. Where they'd be like, hey, let's meet his demands.
My son is the expert on this. He is constantly negotiating. I mean, what he pays for cable and phone versus everybody else I know, oh my gosh, it's not even close. Yeah. I mean, he just knows the system. He knows the algorithm, which, by the way, speaking of algorithms, can algorithms be fair?
Did you hear this from me?
No, well, we got this off uberliftdrivers.com, uberliftdrivers.com.
Oh, no, because I'm doing the 5 roundtables for para.
Okay.
On these subjects. And the next one is, do the algorithms decide your pay? And I was just talking about it with the team today. I was like,
you have a link out here called "Can Algorithms Be Fair?" And that's what I was looking at. Ubereats, robot crashes, crime scene, and
that's a good one.
So we got plenty of things to talk about. But I tell you what, let's do this. Let me run out real quick and take care of some things on the radio station. So we're going to send out for just a couple of moments there. We'll be right back on TNCRadio.LiVE. Stay right there. Okay. So we're clear on that side. And
okay, guys, when you see Tom do that and you see me say clear, that's when I'm opening up the comments. So if you've been commenting, that's why I don't see it. But now I'm in here, I'm looking, and I might even get to a point where maybe I can. But when we start talking about stories, I want to focus because it's a radio show. Doesn't look like there was a ton. Hey, Drone, what's up? How are you? Tommy texting me back. Okay. Rodney, what's up, man? How are you? Rodney is a fellow Detroit Tigers fan who lives in California. Mad respect for Rodney. Mad respect. Joe, mad respect for Rodney. He's a Tigers fan that lives out in California. What do you think of that? And then Brian, what's up, Brian? How are you? And Light, I saw that as I was leaving Flex's room before I came over to here to start this, I saw you were asking me a question, but I was really having to rush to come over here to get set up. So it's not about. I thought you had asked if it was about solo. Well, whatever it is, if you feel like joining us, there's the phone number for one. You can just call in. Super simple, and Tom can handle it from there. Because he's got the board over on his side in Houston, and he can just patch you through just audio, which makes it super easy. You don't have to StreamYard link or any of that in, but yeah, you should call in. Maybe after we come back from the break and talk about let's talk about this robot thing, because it's scary actually. But if after that robot story, if you want to call this number 706-862-8620, then Tom will patch you through, and we can, even if I don't have the answer to your question right now, at least we can talk about it, because I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it sounded like you were talking about solo, other things that, yes, I'm affiliated with, so I should be able to tell you something, I hope. But I was a little confused. So, Joe, it's killing me that I can't. You know what? I'm going to send it, just so you know, Joe. I'm going to send Tom a text of your song that you recorded so that he can watch it after this radio show. But I was going to play it tonight and shit. Because do you remember the song that Joe sang? He's the one from Detroit. Let's Play Doordash. He sang that. Did he sing it on the radio? Did he come on and sing the Doordash song he wrote at the...
That doesn't ring a bell.
Really? I thought he did. Joe, if you didn't, man, you should join into this right now. And at least, I know, because you just made your video and that's going to be a Pedro release, but you should come on here and sing it live. You don't even have to come on StreamYard. You can just call this number again. Call in.
Yep.
The robot crime. I don't know about the robot crime. It was just sketchy, Daphne. Like, yeah. I mean, super sketchy. And I think here's the weird thing. When we do come back and talk about it, I'll talk about it. And then I want to see if anybody picks up why I thought it was so sketchy, because I've read 4 or 5 articles on it, and nobody seems to be mentioning this, and it's baffling to me. So when we come back, we'll talk about that. But yeah, so when we were at the Pedro's gig conference this summer in St. Louis, we Let's Play Doordash Joe at the actual location during the day, sitting outside, wrote a song about DoorDash and how how it was basically you just have to hear it. But by the end of the day, when they still had the karaoke machine going without a cappella, he sang it.
All right, Joe.
A song he wrote that afternoon.
Joe, I see that you missed everything Steve said. So long story short, call into the program, please. 706-862-8620. 706-862-8620.
Yeah, do that, Joe.
We're going to put you on the spot, buddy.
Well, I've put him on the spot a couple times. He's done it. It's just that he finally made the cut video of it. That's pretty cool. But, cool. I mean, I've put him on the spot. We had him on the round table, and I said, "Hey, before we leave, you got to do it." And he was like, "Oh, I wasn't ready," and he did it. And the funny thing is because he lives in Michigan. A lot of people didn't get this, but his studio's out in his garage, and there's loud crickets at night. And right as he paused, and right before he started singing it at the very end, you could hear crickets going really loud. And it was and somebody in the chat was like, "I hear crickets."
I love it.
This is hilarious. And then he crushed it, though. It's not only did he do a good job putting something together, the guy might have a career, Tom. And he doesn't, if he does, he doesn't know it. Yeah, you can be out hustling. Just call in. It's not going to be any video. Just call in. It's going to be like a phone call.
Okay, he can call in. We're going to be on for a while, so he doesn't do it right this second.
Call in when you can.
All right, coming back in 15 seconds.
Okay, guys, I'm closing the comments. Be back.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Welcome back in TNCRadio.LiVE. It's a Friday night. That means it's Driver Nation time. We turn our attention to all things around the gig economy. So we're happy to have you in here with us tonight. I'm Tom Kelly along with Steve from the Rideshare Rodeo. You can watch us on YouTube if you want to tonight. Just check us out on Rideshare Rodeo's YouTube channel, which is pretty easy to find. You go into YouTube, you type Rideshare Rodeo, and there we are. Rideshare, one word, rodeo. You know, it's pretty easy. So
I actually feel pretty cool, and I got to tell you this: I feel pretty cool in the YouTube algorithm because not only that, and it's a ways down, but if you type in the word rideshare, I'm the 5th one down now.
All right.
Like I'm getting some traction here. I'm getting some pull, man. They're recognizing my talent.
Yeah. I had somebody walk in today and say, "Hey, man, I found you on YouTube, but it wasn't you. It was you, like on somebody else's YouTube channel." and this guy is funny because he's always wasted. I mean, he's just always wasted. He's like, man, you're on somebody else's channel, man. That's okay, Leo. Thanks, man. I appreciate you checking me out. I appreciate that. It was really,
or Tom, let's be honest, or stalking you. It's the world we live in, man. Be careful.
No, he's a good guy. He just
cool.
He told us the other night that he's 27 years old now, and he's gotten wasted every single day since he was 19 years old.
Nice.
It's like,
I don't know why. I guess I'm wondering why you would tell that story.
It was
because to me, like, I mean, I don't know the guy, but sounds like he's proud of it.
Yeah, he is. So shout out to you, Leo. You know, hope you're doing well. So we'll catch up to you some other time. So,
you want to hear about a robot?
No, I want to bring in Joan.
Oh, all right. Here we go.
Wants to call in. So, beep beep. Hello, Joan.
Hello.
Is this Joe? Joe.
Joe.
All right, Joe. How are you?
I'm out hustling, man. How are you guys doing tonight?
Fantastic. Great to have you call in with us. And see, now that was pretty easy, wasn't it?
Yeah,
but he doesn't know what we asked yet.
So well, you take it, Steve.
So, Joe, I remember Joe asked me how he should best get the video now that the song is done, and then I'll let him give the background on the song. But he asked me how to get it out there, to release it best, how I thought, and I told him how I thought, and I said I thought Pedro was the best mechanism because he wrote it at Pedro's conference. Pedro has a lot of active viewers, like that's probably the best. He'll sell it for you. And so then today he sent me the video on an unlisted link on his YouTube channel, and he said, "Here's the video I've been making for it." And I was like, "Oh, dude, can I play it during the radio show?" And he's like, "Well, I think Pedro's going to do it. I mean, he hasn't gotten back to him, but I know Pedro is going to do it, so it's or will." But yeah, so I was like, no, we won't wreck that. But so here's the thing, Joe. So I saw the video for everybody who, whenever it's announced when it'll be done if Pedro's going to help, whatever, make sure you check it out. But Joe, because we couldn't play it, you're on the spot. You got to do it right now.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry. I actually am not sorry, but I like the song a lot, so let's hear it.
In 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, here we go. Let me turn my dash phone down. Actually, let me pause my dash.
You guys, this is Joe. Let's Play. His handle is Let's Play Doordash on YouTube. If you are watching this live and you're not subscribed, go over and subscribe. If you watch this in replay, go over and subscribe.
Appreciate that, Steve. Damn phone's glitching.
Appreciate you doing the song right now.
All right. Here we go. Sitting here feeling neglected. I'm dashing, but it's hectic. I need more money and I know just what to do. I'll listen to all my favorite tubers at Grubhub and the Ubers. Multi-apping makes more money, it's true. Now I must admit, I'm so much happier working for me. Accept, decline, that decision's mine, and man, that feels so free. I may not know where I'm going or what this order may be, but I must admit, I'm so much happier working for me. Now nothing quite affects me like the no tips that I can't see. Come on, par, I hope you win the fight. 'Cause DoorDash is so shady, and I'd like to know that they paid me for all the work that I've done tonight. Now I must admit, I'm so much happier working for me. When times are hard, I just jump in the car and make that sweet money. I may not know where I'm going or what this order may be, but I must admit, I'm so much happier working for me. Now, if you want to understand, just take that phone that's in your hand. Try these apps, you'll never be the same. Motivation can be hard to find, but it's out there if you look online. Baby, that's why I play this game. Now I must admit, I'm so much happier working for me. I've learned a lot, and now I've got a future clear to see. I may not know where I'm going or what this order may be, but I must admit, I'm so damn happy I bet on me. There you go.
Dude, how awesome was that? So Tom, the guy basically wrote this in an afternoon while we're all meeting each other in St. Louis. He's from Detroit. We're all in St. Louis and gathering, meeting each other for the first time in person. And he writes this.
From the gig conference.
That's awesome.
And then
cool.
that same day performs it on the people are doing karaoke and being, karaoke-ish, like a little skittish and stuff. And he goes up there and says, I'm going to do a cappella. What song? No, I just wrote it. I got this. Just give me the mic, kind of thing. It was, yeah, he did drop some beats, but I know that if I knew the guy better, I knew you didn't want it in there. I didn't even know you well enough at the time. I was just meeting you, but I knew you wouldn't have wanted that in there, so I would have gone over and been like, "Yo, kill that." I didn't know him well enough. So.
Right.
No, that was good. That was really good. Big thumbs up.
And Joe, can I tell the part about? I'm not gonna. Yeah, let me. I hope this isn't wrecking anything. I don't think it will. But so Joe made a video to go with this. It's got him dashing, or it's got him working in while he's driving through Detroit a little bit, where he's from in Detroit, and then not only that, but it's your dad playing because it's got music instead of acapella in the video. So it's his dad doing it too, which is just awesome. And he dedicated it to his dad, and it's awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was
I don't know.
cool. Went there and sang it for him, and within minutes, he just picked up his banjo and went to town.
Yeah, I mean, it really is so cool.
The only instrument I play is the stereo.
So oddly, he grew up in am I remembering this right, Joe? You grew up in a polka family?
Yeah. I grew up in a traveling polka band. Basically, I've played every carnival and wedding in Michigan.
Wow.
There you go.
That's cool. That's very cool.
I love it, man. I have a bond with Joe because we both know the Jobby Nooner. And it goes deeper than that. We just have that Michigan bond. But
if there's an Eagles club table I ain't under, it's not a real Eagles club.
Man, Joe, I honestly think you could write a song about all the different platforms. Like I mean, would it make money? Who knows? Give it to charity. Give it to the Mott's Children's Hospital in Detroit. Give it to that if it could be anything. But you could write one about every one of these damn apps. You have a whole album.
Why it happened, because I sent the link to the video to my dad, and my dad replied with, "We need to do a whole damn album."
Yes,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe
Like
he
it.
didn't know you were writing music so easy, man. I mean, again, I don't know how much you've tweaked it, but you wrote that in a couple hours, if not less.
Well, I wrote the song at the gig conference in like 10 minutes.
Right.
I went for a walk and I was like, I'm
Oh,
going to do that.
10 minutes.
But I tweaked the
I at
lyrics.
least wanted to make it look like some hard work went in there for you, Joe. So it's a couple hours, but he's like, no, 10 minutes, man. What are you talking about?
And it's just happened.
That's right. Love it. Well, again, thank you very much. I really appreciate you doing that for us. And so, you know, if that showed up being played like on our air occasionally or something like that, you got a problem with that?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, if it's for the people.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, dude, this is his. He's talking about for his radio channel, and it's all good. It's for truckers, good people. It would get you exposed anyway, too.
Yeah, just shout out the YouTube channel. That'd be great.
Yeah, you betcha.
Yeah, just tied to his YouTube. But hey, you know, even better though, Tom, after whatever he works out to premiere it with Pedro, I'll give you the version with his dad.
Okay.
That is like the cleaned up version, so he's not put on the spot. Even though every time I put him on the spot, he kills it, dude. I heard it. Now that's my third time hearing it, maybe fourth. I think, and I've heard all. I think there's been 4, and I think and those are your only 4 live performances of. I think I've heard every one.
I'm good on the spot.
I'm your biggest fan, bro.
Oh,
I can say I knew you when.
Snowboarding.
I knew when he was just another guy in Detroit.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, sir.
We knew you win. All right. Hey, we're going to take a break on the radio side. We're going to be back in just a couple of minutes. You're listening to TNCRadio.LiVE on a Friday night. This is Driver Nation. Tom Kelly along with Steve from Rideshare Rodeo. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Stay right there.
All right, guys. So
Very
now that
cool.
we're clear, I'm looking over at the comments. I will in a second anyway here. But so Joe, thank you. That was awesome. Tom, you listen to a lot of music, Tom, like I do.
Oh, yeah. And
the guy and especially when you hear the version that he sent me, like the guy has a voice too. He's got it. He's got the style. You can tell. I mean, if he's writing songs in 10 minutes, it's in his blood. You know, music's either in your blood or it's not.
Pretty awesome.
You're the man.
So,
all right, guys, I'm gonna get back to my dad.
Thank you for that part of your day. That was awesome. You rock. You guys, anybody listening again in the live or in the replay, please go over and subscribe to Joe's channel. I mean, we're always looking for different gig channels. Well, he does things that are awesome to watch, but I mean, he just sang a song, you guys. What other gig person does that? Come on. It's Let's Play Doordash. Go over there and give him a sub, would you? Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
You betcha.
All right, Joe.
Later.
Be safe out there.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I can possibly send an audio version after everything's released too. If you guys need.
Yeah, that's what I really need. That would be perfect.
Yep.
And you can put something on there too if you want to, Joe, about, you know, hey, check out my or my YouTube channel at, you know, throw something on there. That'd be fine.
Yeah, maybe I'll that'd be great. Appreciate it.
I have a rotation that I call Drive Music, and it's a combination of Southern rock, and all the songs have something to do with driving or, you know, something along those lines, and so that would fit right in with that rotation.
So yeah, that's another thing, Joe. I know you're taking off here, but right now I know you're going back to work. Try this, dude. Try to open up a browser window, get away from YouTube, open up TNCRadio.LiVE and listen to the rest of this, because you'll hear music in the commercial breaks instead of this right now.
Yeah, music,
and then you'll kind of get familiar with his channel too, because I think you'll like it.
What is the channel again? Sorry.
So
TNCRadio.live. So TNC.
Oh, it's right on the bottom of the screen. I got you on YouTube Live
Yep.
right now.
Yep.
right, so you can close YouTube. Try and go to that TNCRadio.live. So the .live is the extension. So,
All righty. I'm on close.
but I think you'll like it as a show as a whole. You'll hear the commercial, or you'll hear the music in between, all this everything. So it's good.
Yep.
Check it out.
on the radio.
Yeah, you're on the radio and on YouTube. We're simulcast.
Yeah, we're simulcast. Yeah. You just went out to a bunch of, and he's in Houston, so you just went out to a bunch of truckers around the country and stuff. So
all around U.S. and Canada.
Hell yeah, dude! It's an independent contractor song.
And it's amazing. You may not realize this, how many truck drivers also do Uber or Lyft or whatever on the side. There are a whole lot of them who it's very hard to drive truck as a full-time job. You need to take breaks, but they still need to have some income during their breaks. And so they love driving. That's the thing they're really good at. So, they may come home and park for a week, month, whatever, and do some kind of gig work and then say, all right, well, it's time to go out and make the big money again. But that's hard work, guys. I mean, it is, the guys we talk to, they're working 24/7 and, it's hard work. It really is. But you can make some pretty good money driving truck too.
Yeah.
Wait.
In fact, if anybody ever gets the chance, actually Tom and I first, I think, had a conversation maybe about this, but the second thing we ever did was, it's an old podcast. It's way back in the YouTube library. It'd be like in my first 10 videos. And it's not even video, it's just an audio file, but it's Tom, myself, and Tom Kirk, who is a truck driver and one of Tom's partners down there. And he walks us through all the ways that you can get around all the, like, basically, if you are ever looking into being a truck driver, listen to this, because he tells you, even if you're going to go the route of paying or whatever, he tells you at least all the routes you can go and that you don't need to pay. You can do it for free. You can train for free. If you can find somebody to do it with you, all that kind of stuff, so you don't get locked into contracts with companies. We talked about all this, but it was a really good 1 hour conversation about truck driving. If you're into that, I would highly recommend you check it out.
Yeah, I mean, there are those of us who, we've driven enough on the gig stuff that we'd love to drive. We can go a long time. And so if that's something that you have interest in, I could certainly hook you up with the right people. If you're like, seriously, I'd like to know more about this. I can help you with that. All right. Hey, we're coming back on the radio side, so let's do that real quick.
All right. Catch you guys later.
Comments are going up. Later, Joe. Right. Comments are going off. You guys, I will be back in a minute.
Welcome back in TNCRadio.live. This is a Friday night. The Friday nights mean it's time for Driver Nation. I'm Tom Kelly along with Steve from Rideshare Radio. We're simulcasting on YouTube. You can go to YouTube and look up Rideshare Rodeo. And if you want to look at us now, everybody tells me that, all my life, we kept saying, hey, Tom, you ought to be on radio. And I thought it was because my voice. It turns out it's my face.
Yep.
So, yeah.
That face for radio joke is just,
I've got the face
it's
for
burnt. It's burnt. It's not. It's old. No, but it's old. It's just whatever, guys. Whoever came up with that, come up with a new one, because it's old. Yeah. It's getting old.
Well, I try. I've tried to cover it up as best I can, and
that's
it's getting to be
Tom's a jokester, you guys. Tom's a good-looking guy. He's totally good kidding around, so whatever.
Hey, I'm doing all right for 60, pushing 60 here in the next few months.
Yeah, I mean, and I can only imagine. You seem like you would have been just your whole life. I don't know.
And back in the day,
kind of look at people and tell.
Yeah, I had some game, but
I had some game.
Now I'm 60. Now I'm 60.
And then my wife ripped that game and just threw it away.
I found her, fell in love, and game ended.
Right, game over.
or maybe it was just I just played a different game now. So
Tom, before we talk about this robot story, I wanted to tell you that because because when you were talking about the algorithm, it linked to something I've been doing. So for the group Para that I'm involved with, we've talked about it. Tip transparency on DoorDash, it's gone away twice, but they're fighting for all kinds of things and stuff. And they are having me do 5 roundtables on 5 topics that we decided on before I ever started. We've completed 2. We record them every Monday night, but they premiere at what is it for me? They premiere at 6 p.m. for me or 5 p.m. Oh, 5 p.m. for me. It's 5 to 6 p.m. Mountain, so 7 to 8 Eastern. You guys can do the math for the rest, but that's when it premieres on Tuesdays. And here's the 2 we've already done. And every time I am getting together David Pickerel, the CEO of Para, myself, and then I'm getting 4 to 5 people on panels who are perfect for that panel, who have tons of experience in gig work and have YouTube channels, whatnot, enough recognition to know these people know what they're talking about. So here's the 5 topics. Driver safety is already out there. It's on the Para channel. You can find it. The second one that we just dropped this week is called Declined. And that's talking about how you can, maybe a top dasher is best in some markets, but for the most part, declining and being at under 10% acceptance rate is your best option. And we went through some charts and diagrams with that stuff. But here's what I wanted to tell you about, because I wanted to brag a little bit. So the driver safety one is now over 6,000 views. And the Declined is at 4,500 in 3 days.
Wow. Now,
Para has a reach that my channel doesn't, but I've been involved with Para since their inception for well over a year. I've known David Pickerel since I actually met David Pickerel 6 days after the pandemic was announced, end of March 2020. That's how we actually got put together through a newspaper article. But anyway, this is here's the 3 coming up. So the next one is, do the algorithms decide your pay? And, is there a way to, even though it's we always say, even though it's market to market. So I always make sure that my 5-6 guests come from 5 or 6 different states every time. So we've always got, people representing everywhere. And so we kind of have that discussion. The week after, we have a good one. A really good one is staying motivated and coping with stress, which I think a lot of people need right now. And I also just learned today that it's Suicide Prevention Month. So that's going to go, that's the last Tuesday of this month is that episode, you guys. And I'd highly recommend, check it out, share it. The panel, I'll tell you right now, the panel that I have is David Pickerel, myself, John McCallion, who, if you guys know John, he's written books on, how to invest wisely, and he's a gig worker, he's written 3 books. He's got a lot of the how to be the best you kind of stuff. Hannibal is Hungry. We got Pedro Doordash Santiago. We got Dashing with Ash in Canada. And we got Kim's Side Money Plans. It's a sick lineup. It's talking about that. And then the final one on October 4th will be Rise of Women in the Gig Economy. And for that one, I have an amazing lineup as well. So I just wanted to plug that because I was shocked that between the 2, we're over 10,000 views in like 11 days.
Very cool. Yeah. Steve, the whole issue around Suicide Prevention Month and all that, we've run multiple shows so far this month, and we have more that we'll be doing throughout the time. People may not realize this, but there's 2 areas where suicide and trucking cross lines. First of all, as a group of people in a particular vocation, truckers are way up there. They're not number 1. They're like number 3 or 4 behind firefighters and policemen, and there are a couple other things that are there. But the truckers are way up there. But the one that I think people don't realize much about is suicide by truck, which at the height of the pandemic, we had here in Houston at least once a week. They'd usually happen around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and they'd usually be written off by the media as John Smith was walking across the highway when he was run over by a truck, and that's not what happened. And
Right.
it would happen at least once a week, and usually have the reason I was familiar with it was because we used to do a show that started at 5 a.m. and at least once a week we had a highway closed down, and this is at the height of the pandemic, where somebody had stepped out in front of a truck. I know of a good friend of one of the truckers who a car crossed the median, hit him head on. The driver and the passenger were killed, husband and wife. And when they did the investigation, they had a suicide letter at home. It was a decision they had made beforehand. And and these drivers have to live with this crap, forever. And even though my friend he knows he didn't create that accident, he knows he didn't do it, they still have to live with it. So we're encouraging people to reach out for help. And a lot of people don't realize that starting 2 months ago in July, 988, which is like 911, 988 is now the national suicide and mental health helpline. It also is for vets and everything. If you call 988, somebody local to you,
Just 988 call.
988, like 911. We just call 988 and say, I'm having an issue. I need help. And they will talk you through whatever your issue is. If you've got financial problems, they're going to help connect you to people who can help you that way. If you're having addiction issues or whatever, they're not just going to give you some kind of sweet talk. They're there to actually help you through whatever it is that's going on. 988, 988, 988. It replaces, well, it's not replacing.
Do I have that worded pretty close to right?
You got it right.
Okay.
You got it right. So
I heard you mentioning vets, which was an odd thing because I just heard a stat on vets today, which was, how did it relate it? But it was 10.4 or 10. There's 10.4 vet suicides a day. No,
22 per day. It's called Tears of the 22. Check them out. Tears of the 22. Okay. There's a website for them, and they do some fantastic work. 22 vets per day commit suicide. 22.
That's just...
what are we doing, guys? If we're not taking care of the guys who've gone out and put their lives on the line to protect this country, if we're not taking good enough care of them, what the hell are we doing as a country? I don't care what political...
but Tom, what else are we doing as a country either? I don't mean to be a jerk, man, but come on. I feel like every time, I don't watch traditional news anymore. I just don't. I get all of my news from the sources I trust and rely on. I talk to enough people where I'm getting the real feed before they write a story. I feel like I'm in pretty damn good touch with reality. But the reality isn't what you see on the news, maybe, but in a way it's worse. Mm-hmm. It's because they're just showboating what will get viewership on the TV. But really when we say that, it's not like it's not that it's fake news. It's what the news channel owner or the company that owns the news channel directs them in the direction of what they want covered. And then they only want it covered at a baseline value so that they don't get sued and all this stuff. But there's a lot more real stuff out there, and it's way worse than this. That's why sometimes when we talk about things like when we talk about the trucking issues with California, AB5 supply chain, like we're talking about it much more, you and I, than you hear about it on the news.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
I'm sickened that I just say I don't watch it, but like every once in a while, I will just turn it on, just pick a certain junk news channel and just see I literally used to watch it a bit, but I really don't watch ever anymore. And when I do turn it on, I'm always reminded why. I'm like, this is garbage.
Absolutely. Love to you, Daphne. Love to you, Daphne. And I'm sorry for your loss. I have similar experiences, so I very much appreciate the pain, and well, there's so much we could say there, but that's
so sorry, Daphne.
Yeah. So, But that's not what this program is for. So I tell you what, we're getting close to the top of the hour. Before we get too far along here, UberLiftDrivers.com. Now, Steve, I was talking earlier about can algorithms that ride-hailing and delivery startups use be fair. That is one of the links that's there on UberLiftDrivers.com, as is a conversation around is Lyft going to make it as acquisition rumors swirl. If you are looking to know what's going on in the world of the gig economy, and you're not going to Steve's UberLiftDrivers.com, he's got it all laid out. It's very simple. These are all stories that are out there. And look, some of them are very serious. Some of them are funny. Some of them are sad, but they're all entertaining and they're all interesting. And the only reason I don't hit it more, Steve, is I end up getting kind of stuck there for a couple of hours. Because okay, well now I gotta read this one. That led me over to this one, and the next thing you know, I look up the clock and 3 hours went by, and I didn't do the stuff I was supposed to be doing because I was too busy reading your website.
I got to tell you one thing. I got to tell you that there's only one thing I've moved away from on the website. I don't know if you've noticed it. Is that I'm not reporting on deaths anymore.
I didn't notice that. But
there's just too many, man, and I just don't feel like that's what my channel or what my website's about.
We struggle.
So what I'm saying is I don't mean that mean to anybody. It's not like I'm ignoring it. It's that I did it for a long time, and I reported on some horrible stuff. So I don't know that I don't think I need to, because I think it's pretty public record how bad it is.
Yeah, we struggle with what is appropriate and what is inappropriate when we're doing our stuff around traffic and all of that, and how much detail we want to give. Well, what we all agreed on early on was we're not putting up pictures of some mangled truck and talking about, John Smith died in this horrible accident earlier today, and it's just that exists out there, and people who want to see that stuff can go find it someplace else. Obviously, we need to report, hey, there's been a fatality accident involves an 18-wheeler on I-20 going through Dallas. I-20 is going to be closed for the next 4 to 5 hours. We do it at that level, but we don't get into the details and stuff because it's just not helpful for people. Report how it affects them right now. And every so often, if there's a spectacular story that we need to mention, especially the FMCSA has taken away a driver's license or something like that, we'll talk about that kind of stuff. But we don't want to get into the gratuitous violent stuff. It's just not what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
just if something, I will say, if something stands out though, and it's really something that I need to, I will. But there's just too many. They're all the time. I just don't want to.
No, and that's fair, and I appreciate that. All right, hey, I'm going to take a break on the radio side. We're going to do the top of the hour news, all that kind of good stuff. So we'll be back in just a few minutes. We'll have a few laughs on the other side of the hour. You're listening to TNCRadio.LiVE. Stay tuned. Okay, I had to get that in there quickly before I was going to run out of time.
Yeah. Hey, Daphne. So Daphne's a friend. So Daphne's so sorry to hear that. I've two of my family members have gone to suicide. One was, much older than me, and like generations older than me when I was very young, barely knew him. But the other one I knew. And a lot, and I've lost a handful of friends too to suicide.
I have two. Very close friend. And we've had several. Even this week, we did a show Monday, Tuesday, about it with a psychologist, and truckers are really sensitive about the words mental health. So if I tell them we're going to do a show on mental health, I get
like in a bad way.
Yeah, bad way. They don't want to hear a show about mental health. But on Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern, every Monday night, we run a show called Building Stronger Minds. Okay, and that show, between us and chickens sitting over here on the YouTube site, that show is a mental health show. We don't call it that. The way we sell it is we have a picture of a brain and some strong arms, coming out of the brain, and we talk about, look, people are saying all the time, I got to be in better physical health. You can also be stronger in your mind. Don't you want to be sharp and alert for the job you're doing? People will listen to that. Now, the truth is, the psychologist who hosts that show, we talk about everything. We talk about, critical suicide stuff. We talk about how to be, right now we're going through something called the social black belt, just like people want to do, they want to be very strong. And when I say black belt, you think of somebody who knows all the right moves in a fight and stuff like that. What if you knew the right moves on how to work with people better? And so we're doing that, and our drivers love it. But if I was to call it the trucker mental health show, no way.
Yeah, no, yeah,
at all. But building strong minds, that works. And the guy who does it has just got a great, easy way about him, and he's able to relate to stories and all that kind of stuff. And that we think it's very important. So on Monday nights we do that, and then we do an hour-long show about eating and staying healthy when you're driving truck all the time. And look, everybody on here who's been driving DoorDash or Uber or whatever, you eat like crap when you're doing it. You do.
Oh, yeah.
And so we talk about how to eat better, how to exercise better, the things that you can be doing to take care of your body. And then after that, we have a group on from TFC Global, and those guys have put clergy, what's the word I'm looking for, chaplains in truck stops all over America. Okay. And so we talk about more spiritual things and everything. So every Monday night for the truckers, it's mind, body, and soul. And, so that's kind of our, one
See,
of
that's
our
a name I wouldn't think anybody would run from.
No, mind, body, and soul.
That's just inviting. I like that.
Yeah. So, that's the way we sell that. And it seems to be working. And, it was slower compared to some of our other nights. It was slower to get going. It didn't have the popularity of Mind Your Trucking Business or some of the other shows that we do, but it's caught on and is catching on, and it's hard. And sometimes we all go, oh man, I don't know if this is worth it. But then again, our thought is, if just one driver is helped by what we're doing, then we're doing the right thing. Let's get over how many people we think might be listening or whatever at any particular time. If just one person called when they needed it or whatever, then we're doing the right thing.
Yeah, and it's too bad that Jason isn't here tonight, by the way, because I know you know this, Tom, but we haven't talked about it in quite a while, is that Jason and another guy, not Jesper, do a podcast called Threads, which is about this stuff. I
didn't know that.
Oh, I thought you did. Yeah, he does another podcast called Threads. If you look it up, Threads actually is and Jason is Jason and this other guy are the two hosts, and Jason lets a window into his soul on that show.
Yeah.
So if you've ever thought you had Jason figured out, I would challenge you to go listen to Threads, because
full disclosure, Steve, my degrees are in computer science and psychology.
Right.
And so, this is stuff that I've been working with. My college roommate, who my son is named after, was the head of the Yerkes Language Research Center and Georgia State University Psychological Program. And, this is stuff that wherever I am, whatever I do in my life, I always try to work on the mental health of the people who I'm with, and encourage those kinds of things. And I like everybody else, I've got tragedy and so forth in my background that I can talk to people about. But the more stuff we do like that out there for each other, the healthier we can be. Right now, the way the world exists, it's a pretty sick place out there, and there are a lot of people out there who are just there to hurt each other, especially in social media. You want to ruin your day, spend a day, doing nothing but reading tweets and Facebook and you know, it's sad. It's really sad.
Yeah, it is. Tom, I'm not on my main email. What is your email? Is it T Kelly? Oh, I got it. Never mind.
Yeah, T Kelly.
So yeah,
yeah.
I'm sending you an email right now because I want to see if you can see this. I just sent it. So it's forwarded from me. It's from my cousin Stephanie Sipola, and I want you to look at her title because I asked her if she would be willing to one week join us on this because
and look at that cell phone number too. She's local here.
That's what I mean, but look where she works. NASA.
Yeah. So
I thought you might be interested in her coming on, man. She's actually got a real role there. It's not some goofball give tour guides. She's an actual rocket scientist.
Yeah, maybe she knows my son. She very well probably does. Well,
I mean, after you told me the story is why I emailed her. I reached out and I said, "Hey," I said, "Would you come on a show? It's actually in Houston." And she's like, "You mean like go to the studio?" I'm like, "No. We just bring you in on a stream." And she's like, "Oh, for sure." I'm like, because the person I do the show with is, expressed some serious interest in all this, and I know he'd like to. And since we do a lot of variety stuff, I just thought I'd share that. If you're interested, man, she's into it. So,
cool. Very good.
Super smart, fun.
All right. Hey, let me bring us back in on the radio side in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back in TNCRadio.LiVE. Friday night. That means Driver Nation. I'm Tom Kelly along with Steve from Rideshare Rodeo. Happy to have you with us. We're simulcasting right now over on YouTube. Just go to YouTube, put in Rideshare Rodeo, and you can see our smiling faces. So let me move us right into the next topic here. I haven't had a chance to read the whole story. Tell us about the food delivery robot that crashed a crime scene. What was that about?
It's actually not awesome at all, but I want to tell this. So I'm going to start off by reading it and then I'll give you the bullet points. This is just kind of taken a little bit from the beginning. So a self-driving food delivery robot did not take kindly to yellow caution tape surrounding a crime scene in Los Angeles as it plowed through the area, according to video shared on Twitter. William Good is the owner of Film the Police LA. It's a watchdog Twitter account documenting police activity in the Los Angeles area. Good was on the perimeter of a suspected shooting at Hollywood High School at 10 a.m. This would have been Wednesday. And he saw a food delivery robot rolling down the sidewalk, approaching the caution tape. Now, when it got to the caution tape, it got stuck up, but it wasn't, it got like locked up. It couldn't figure out what it was doing. It was still trying to move, but it wasn't the caution tape. It was the caution tape wrapped around a pole. So if you can imagine it coming across the street on a crosswalk, and then it's like wrapped around the pole. So it was kind of stuck at that pole. So he goes on to say that one of the cameramen who were all on scene picks up the robot. This isn't the big Neuro. These are the little trash can Neuro delivery robots. He moves it to the side and it figures out how to go past the caution tape. So, Tom, you've seen these. They're about the size of a large, not an extra large, but cooler you'd take to an event or the beach or whatever. And they have crappy wheels on them and stuff, googly eyeballs, all this. And it is now driving within the tape. Now, the suspected shooting is in the school. It comes right by the SWAT team, the police on site, and the parents who are waiting. What's the problem with this story? I mean, there's a lot, but what's the biggest problem you see? Because most people missed what I saw. Or thought.
The thing that kind of caught my eye in the midst of all of this is that, where did it go? Oh man, it was somewhere in here where they talked to Thelwell, who is a spokesperson for Serve Robotics, and it says, while serve robots are capable of operating autonomously in most circumstances, they are assigned to human supervisors to ensure their safe operations. There was a human behind this when he plowed through. That's what concerned me.
Okay, here's my concern. These things are junk. People have taken golf clubs, baseball bats, kicked them into rivers, relocated them in the woods. They're trash. This thing went right past, again, I'm going to say this, past the SWAT, past the police, past the parents. Not one of those groups stopped the robot to see if it was a bomb. If that was a bomb, it could have taken out LA, SWAT, and PD.
Good point. Good point.
And I haven't read one story that even mentions what if this had been an attack on the police.
Yeah,
all it would have taken was that call of an active shooter at a school.
Sure.
And then you send an Uber robot through.
Yeah, and getting the first responders is a tactic that is used a lot when in countries where you see a lot of terrorism, where the first thing that happens is to draw people in, and the second one is the actual attack.
Why am I the only one who didn't? I mean, I asked people last night too, and nobody else got it either. I mean, they all had good points like you did. They all had points that were bad about this. But like the bomb squad was there. And it wasn't like they were all arriving. They were there and set up.
Well, I mean,
the bomb squad has like those trash cans that can take a bomb. They can do so many things. They could just blow the thing away, whatever. But there's no way that they should have been like, look at that thing go by.
Well, Steve, what it comes down to is for somebody to do that, they would have to be a really evil person. So it would have to take somebody who can think that kind of evil to even come up with it.
No, but come on, man. Once I said it, you got it right away.
Else. Yeah. No,
like Bill, who used to do the show with us. I know he would be right there with me. Like, dude, you're right, man. This could have really and I say, Bill, to those that you don't know, Bill, he was involved with the police for a long time. So he was not an officer, but he was like in the dispatch and stuff, and a good guy. And it just I know this would drive him nuts. Like, I don't think it does take an evil mind. It takes somebody to think it through and look and go, dude, what is going on?
Sure. No, you're not wrong.
Get rid of that. I mean, like, and who cares? It's an Uber trash can, dude.
Right.
Who cares? I mean, shoot it. Demolish it. Who cares?
Yeah.
I don't know. The first thought to me was, here they are sitting outside of the school, and there could have been a full terrorist attack that caused this country, not Los Angeles, not the state of California, but the country, to be in a, not 9/11, because that was way bigger, but in a type situation that would feel like something like that after all we've been through the last couple of years.
Yeah. And you said this happened on Wednesday
or Tuesday. I was trying to see.
Well, my point is that it was pretty close to 9/11, which
Wednesday
guard up anyway, during this time of year, because it's a good point, Steve.
I just don't get. I mean, like, how are there? And it's not like there were two cops on the scene and they're all getting there. They were there. The parents were already there. People were there watching. So how did it blows me away that nobody. I mean, you have all the different teams on situations like this on site for the police, like psych and all that kind of stuff. Nobody was like, hey man, anybody check that little dumb robot out? What's that doing?
Well, if nothing else, somebody could have just pushed it over on its side and said, it's not coming through the crime. As you pointed out too, these things get stuck out in the woods. I mean, people do stuff to it. Isn't it going to bring all sorts of crap through a crime scene? That, I mean, you're supposed to be protecting the crime scene, right? And so that people walk through it and mess things up. That thing drives through it. Who knows what DNA and other stuff is on that thing? And
it's funny you say that, because the closest answer to mine, or the one that I hadn't even thought of, was Kim, who we've had on the show before. Kim's Side Money Plans, great person, friend of mine. What's up, Kim? But she mentioned that, like, well, didn't that just provide attorneys or like screw up the crime scene, and won't it provide attorneys a way to get anybody out of all of this just over something dumb? Didn't this just taint the crime scene? And I was like, I guess. I mean, I don't know. It just rolled by. But I guess I mean, my biggest, I was like, I don't know how it taints the crime scene because nobody dealt with it. They just let it roll right past. I don't know. To me, it was like blowing me away because I might not agree with the tactics of all LAPD police officers, but I'm going to say something that a lot of people might not like. Maybe hopefully most of you at least appreciate this comment because I always say that not all cops are bad. And here in Denver, we got a lot of great ones. LAPD they've had their share of bad ones. I will say that, but they're not all bad. Some people are convinced that because so many are bad in the LAPD, above and beyond most departments, that they're just beyond repair and they only bring in the bad. But there are some good ones. How did they miss this? And they are always under fire and crap. How did they miss this?
Yeah. No, there's no excuse.
I mean, the bomb squad was there. How did the bomb squad not deal with that?
Yeah, that's the thing. Because those guys should be extra sensitive to it.
Yeah, hey, I think there's a bomb right there rolling past us.
Yep.
Towards the parents.
Yeah.
I mean, even imagine that. So I said hit the police. Think if it was like laid out like that. Bomb squad, SWAT, police, and then the parents kept over here. Think if it rolled past the bomb squad, the SWAT, the police, and they're like, oh, and they didn't even think about it. Then it gets over to the parents and blows up, and nothing happens to any of the kids, but a bunch of parents die. I mean, dude, that's the kind of stuff that will ignite some serious stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I read this story so much different than I've read it in all the articles. I just read it as it almost seems like a funny little story. And to me, it wasn't from the first read. I was like, this isn't funny.
No, it's not funny. You're right.
I mean, at first I thought it was humorous. And then I was like, because it's like food delivery robot. This is the one article title, food delivery robot crashed a crime scene. And it shows the little googly eyed cooler with the stroller wheels on it. I don't think it's funny at all. I don't I don't get it.
I get you. I'm with you.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, that it really blew me away because first of all, these things shouldn't even be on LA streets. They're having trouble on college campuses. They're finding them in weird spots where they're just bumping into walls. And all I can think of is really like, we're not even to bad weather yet. They have worse ladders than the car and they're bumping into a wall and you don't have a button that says reverse.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
recalibrate something.
But the guy does say that at some point they were controlling, Steve, I'm saying this is worse even. Okay, so a human can control these things.
Yes, they can take control of them.
So a human could have taken control of it and strapped something to it and created an issue.
The problem is, I think that the human control thing lies in, it's not like they have 17 cameras on them. They got a crappy LiDAR because they're getting broken, so they're not going to put any money. I mean, they're putting too much in them as it is. But my question becomes, where is the camera that the guy controlling from the control center is using? Because if it's one camera going out the front, it's probably just meant for if it is bumping a wall or something like that. It's not meant for, hey man, you're in a crime scene. What am I? What do you want me to do? Go backwards? Forward? You want me to take a right? Like at that point, it's gone. I mean, somebody should just have there doesn't need to be controls. There just needs to be a shut that thing down and get it to the closest corner and have it turn off. It's like, that's all there needs to be. That's it. I mean, we don't need to have fake. It's like having the autonomous cars in Vegas that they're fully autonomous, but they have drivers. So they're not autonomous, you mean?
Right.
It's like, okay, guys, like if you need to have the camera on these trash cans, I don't know. Again, we talk about this all the time. I think you and I know the truth, Tom. A lot of other people I talk to know the truth, but bottom line is I think that a lot of people just believe these stories about autonomous, even though maybe they don't follow it like we do, like full autonomous in 2020. Well, that didn't happen.
No.
Full autonomous 2021. Well, that didn't happen either. 2023. No, that's not going to happen. 2025. I mean, it's just a moving lie. We're not anywhere close. But why not just, they don't have to keep moving a year. Nobody believes it. I guess some people do. Like, did you see this by you know what? If we were going to be autonomous by 2025, we'd be autonomous today. If they knew that, we would be autonomous today. So that's how I see it. I mean,
gotcha. All right. Hey, we're going to
okay.
Be back in just a couple of minutes on the radio side. You're listening to TNCRadio.LiVE. Stay right there.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. That really got me going, because I hate the autonomous system anyway. I hate that, you know how I feel about them doing these testing. Again, it goes to my point of build a city in the desert and let all the autonomous companies go there in like southwestern Arizona, where there's nothing. Go build a city, let the autonomous cars, trash cans, neuros, blah, blah, flying cars, let all this stuff burn out there. You know what I mean? Like, don't put it in downtown Los Angeles by a high school and a crime scene.
How do you really feel about this stuff, Steve? Because the rest of us, we worry that you hold all this stuff in. You know?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. You shouldn't keep yourself holding all this stuff in. You need to let it out.
I'm going to read Light's comments here because, like I said, I was trying to understand what he had going on, but I'm going to just put these up and see if I can't read these in an order that maybe I can understand what he's looking for. Okay. I have been multi-app in Ubereats and Doordash for over a year. I have noticed a lot of coincidences, situations like I have an account problem with Ubereats. DoorDash suddenly treats me like a top dasher. Okay. If I have account issues with DoorDash, Ubereats will suddenly treat me as their priority driver, and offers are incentivized as well as volume. Okay. I do not experience this kind of love from neither app when both apps accounts are operating normal. This does not happen when I only turn on one app for the day. Okay. So my question is, do DoorDash and Ubereats work together with each other's drivers and also work together in capping their drivers' Roberts? Don't know what that last part means, but I did follow the rest. And okay. Do DoorDash and Ubereats work together? No. With each other's drivers? No. But you missed the question you should have asked was, do they data share? And they absolutely 100% data share everything. They didn't used to, but they share everything now. It's helping them get around some of the IC stuff, some of the, I mean, they're not, whatever's going on back in the labs, which is nothing because they're not even tech companies really, but whatever they're doing isn't being shared, but the shareable data for drivers is being shared. And to be honest, I'm going to tell you guys something that's always been happening. Kind of, they used to pay each other for it a little bit based on which companies were worth what, but now just to get around to be united, they're just sharing the data. And they do that for a couple of reasons. So let's say that like a guy gets kicked off Lyft for sexual abuse. And let's just for a minute pretend like he was caught in the act. Because a lot of times you're innocent until proven guilty and you still get kicked off these apps. That sucks. I feel for you. And I wish you the best in the fight. And Steve at ridesharerodeo.com, if you ever need help, advice, I'm always there to help you. But if they kick you off the app, you're done. So if they now say, okay, Lyft is like, this guy did it, the police saw it, they will put out to all of the apps to kick you off. And it usually takes about 24 hours, but you'll be off all the apps.
All right, Steve, we're coming back on the radio side here in just a second. So here we come back in 3, 2, 1.
Sitting here feeling neglected, I'm dashing but it's hectic. I need more money and I know just what to do. I'll listen to all my favorite tubers at Grubhub and Ubers.
All right, welcome back in on TNCRadio.LiVE. That's our good buddy Joe, who entertained us last hour with a song that he wrote in just a few minutes when he was at the conference here in St. Louis a few weeks ago, and we're pretty impressed by that. So I've cut that out and have it already set up on my board. What do you think about that, Steve?
Joe already said, laughing out loud. He's listening.
Yeah, that was my walk back in music. So that wasn't too hard.
I think it's great. I love it.
All right, so a little bit of our walk in music for that, Steve. So let's move on to a different discussion. The first day, and I'm going to get the exact date. Maybe it was next week. We're right around 1 year of doing this, and we've only missed a couple of weeks, so around 50 episodes of doing this. And I think out of 50 episodes, probably 40 episodes, we've mentioned how the blankety blank blank is Lyft still here.
Yes.
And
I figured this is the story you're going to. Yes.
I've been saying for a long time, they can't exist. They have. So now this week, which is not that different, because over the course of the last year, it happens all the time. We get all the rumors, that somebody's going to buy them, Uber's going to merge with them, Google's going to pick them up, whatever.
This one's a little more real though, and there's been some money moved around. So just saying.
Tell me. So give me the update on what's going on.
Okay, so it's already been talked about for a while because Lyft. Yeah, like Tom said, we always are going, what is Lyft doing? I mean, they're just going down the drain. I mean, like last week, even, I think we talked about the 3 companies they were teaming up with as like, Big Lots and like Staples. Like, it was like, man, they're just like taking all other ships down with them too. Like, it's like, it's like, just like, okay, we're all going to be losers and go. But then I was like, okay, so I knew that they've been working with Aptiv, which is Motional, which is autonomous driving. Motional is more advanced than Lyft because Lyft isn't even in that game. But somehow they're Aptiv, which owns Motional and uses Ioniq 5s. Who makes the Ioniq 5?
I don't know.
Is it Hyundai or whatever? But it's a newer car, and that's what they're using for the autonomous vehicles in Vegas. And these things have been tested for years, and they're just not still quite there, or even probably close. But they keep missing their deadlines. Well, Aptiv is tied in with General Motors very heavily, and General Motors has had an eye on Lyft for whatever reason they see value. I don't know, but that's where we get into the fun. So a lot of times when things like this happen, Tom, you are probably aware of this. Other people are probably aware of this. A lot of times, like, you'll see something sold off, but the company's still involved. Or if we've partnered, we've sold it, but we're quiet investor, whatever the situation. This is a get out Lyft. We will buy you if it happens. They don't want any of the people, nothing. They just want them gone. And then General Motors wants it for whatever reason. But here's the kicker, you guys. This is going to blow your mind. So Lyft, when they came out, when did they IP? They IPO'd in, was it May of 2019? Is that right?
Yeah, okay. Doesn't seem like it'd be 20.
I think so. I think it was, because it was before the pandemic that both of them did, and they both did within a month of each other. Right. But anyway, they came out, and yes, Uber's on the Dow, Lyft is on the NASDAQ. Well, Lyft, the day that the NASDAQ opened, was $79. It closed yesterday at $16.99. Now, has it dropped that much overnight? No, it dropped almost half the value the first day, and it's ever since just dropped. And it's been hovering in the like 12, $14 range, and it has recently moved up to 16.5-ish. But here's the thing. It's done that because of the interest from General Motors to just say, Lyft, get out, we will buy you outright, just leave, right, and we'll take everything for whatever we want it for. But here's the biggest takeaway of the whole thing is that I'm going to look around my mic here. So, what could Lyft's value be if it were to be taken over? Okay, so this is what GM is kind of putting out there right now, and it's still a very likely deal. So take of it what you want. Ride sharing investors will likely be disappointed at any takeover bids, as any takeover bids are not likely to be near what they had expected. And this is the first time I've seen this put into the gig economy in use of terms. I think this is an example of like terms we're going to start seeing that we know exist, but haven't existed here yet, where they're getting really mad about the performance of these companies, not only the stock market itself doing bad, but even like we said, before the pandemic, when these came out, these companies just, they threw off the Dow and the NASDAQ. They didn't know how to treat a company that had no assets, no employees, no vehicles, no money. Like, they were just like, why do you have any value? But somehow they had to make this value. So now they're using the term, the tangible book value of the company remains low. And here they're saying that in their offer that is being heavily examined, that likely the shares of Lyft would be worth $2.50 to $3 a share. Not $16.99 that it moved $3 up from in the past month. That's $3 up from how low it was, showing that it had actually been gaining traction. So if you guys want to actually know something, that's a perfect example of why you read UberLiftDrivers.com, because otherwise you'll read stories about, hey, look, Lyft is gaining, you should invest. Well, I go a little deeper and say probably don't, because if General Motors is telling you that they're close to a deal at $2 to $2.50 to $3 a share,
crazy.
I mean, even if that nudges up a bit, let's call it $5. Let's be nice and say $5. I mean, why would you get into Lyft right now?
Right. No, right.
I mean, if anything, and even this would have to be examined. I'm not a pro at this stuff. I mean, I know a little bit, but I mean, if anything, you'd want to go buy GM or Aptiv. You wouldn't want to be in Lyft, because you'd buy Lyft and it would just, I mean, sometimes when a company's bought out, it can double the value. And so therefore you would want to buy Lyft. This is the opposite. This is saying, hey guys, you know that value you said? We think you're about 7% of that, and that's what we'll pay you. And they're like, all right, we're listening. Like, it's like, are you kidding? I mean, this I guess what I take away from this is that it even shows that these companies, even though this might be low, are realizing, man, how did we ever be valued so high? I think we all know, we've talked about this a lot, Tom. Their value is their database. I mean, other than that, what is it?
Okay, so General Motors closed today at $40, $39.97. Mm-hmm. If you had a bunch of Lyft stock right now, Steve, and you've seen, you bought in high and you've seen where it's going, if General Motors came to you and said, we will give you a share of General Motors for every 10 shares of Lyft, would you do it?
If General Motors is at 40? Oh, yeah. Yes. Well, I mean, I guess I would do a little more digging and I would want to wait just a few more days, even just mid next week, because this is moving. Because if it does crash and burn, no, then I would want to sit out. But I mean, I don't want to wait till it's a done deal, but I want to see a little more in the digging I do and put on UberLiftDrivers.com.
That would be the deal that GM would come out.
Well, yes. Okay. Yes. So I'm going to get those shares. Yes. I would do it right now.
For every 10 shares you got, we'll give you a share of General Motors, because General Motors, they're not flush in cash right now. So that's the
Right.
way they.
But General Motors also historically, even at their worst, doesn't go much under 40. So you're pretty much you're getting the best deal at General Motors, and you're getting rid of your lift crap, which you've seen go from 80 to, even if you got in late, let's say you got in at 50, you've seen go from, because you thought you'd buy low, you got in at 50. All you've seen the raise we've seen in the last month is only because of the interest of bigger companies. Other than that, it's just been down.
Right.
So, I mean, eventually, obviously GM's looking ahead. They're saying, look, dude, you're worth no more than $253. That tells me that GM thinks they're worth 6 or 7, but they're like, you guys are hemorrhaging so quickly money that we feel confident offering this.
GM, 5 years ago today. Remember what I just told you? They closed at today, $39.97. What do you think GM closed at 5 years ago today? 38.88.
Oh, okay. Do you see their historic low?
Yeah, I'm looking. Well, I'm looking at their 5 year.
No, I was wondering about all time though.
Well, probably all time low was.
Well, that'd be hard.
The end of the pandemic would have dropped down to the 20s, but you take. My point is, across 5 years, it's pretty steady stock.
That's what I'm saying. Like, like other than like a pandemic factor or something like that, yeah, you might want your General Motors stock to be an 80, and you're not happy if you got in at 70 or something. But you feel a lot better than other stocks. You know it will come back up.
Right.
I mean, let's be honest. Even if things start moving electric and whatnot, and GM's slower about it than others, their stock will still be solid. It will.
Well, my point is, I don't think GM will give cash to stock owners and Lyft. I'll bet you that's not the plan. The plan will be
that they'll do it the way you said.
There'll be some percentage where you end up with GM stock and they end up with the company.
But are you going to end up with, like you were telling me, a better deal than I'm seeing here? Are you going to end up with GM stock at $2.50 to $3?
No, you're gonna get, say, at 20. Maybe it's 20 shares of Lyft gets you 1 share of GM stock. I don't know what the deal will be. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
They're doing is they're preparing the audience for, we're going to give you a deal here, and you're going to end up with some GM stock instead of this worthless piece of paper you've got right now called Lyft. And I can see a lot of people saying, yeah, I'll take that deal. And the board of Lyft, Lyft is a publicly traded company, so the stockholders can vote this down and say, no, we want a better deal than that. But they're going to come to some level of cooperation where they say, all right, at the end of this, I'm going to have X number of shares of GM instead of what I've got right now of Lyft, which I couldn't, I can't do anything with it anyway.
Well, so here's a little more to this then. So after the $2.50 to $3 per share, here's the breakdown. The company's inability to produce cash and no chance, and that's how they word it, and no chance of the business becoming a high margin business, which is what ride sharing apps had initially marketed themselves as to get the valuations which they did from investors, means any takeover bid will not be high. At this point, there could be an argument that the stock could easily decrease by another 30 to 40%, and investors will consider this factor before making a bid. So they're even saying, like, hey, see this pathetic number? We don't even feel good about that.
Right.
I mean, and this, guys, by the way, I'm not reading Bob Hughes' WordPress page. Okay, I'm not reading somebody's blog that's misspelled words and stuff. This is Entrepreneur Magazine, entrepreneur.com. And I don't know if you give them any credibility. I do. I like a lot of the stuff they do. They don't deep dive enough sometimes, but sometimes that's good for me because it gives me jumping off points. But I mean, this is the kind of breakdown you get with Marketplace and Entrepreneur and things like that. And this is their reasons. They're pretty straightforward about it. I mean, it's like, how mean is that though to say, well, we did get up there to $16.99. Well, we think you're worth $2.50, and here's why: you're crap. You're never going to make money. You're gonna, it's like they're like backhanding them each time with another thing on top of this lowball value. It's, I don't know, but to be honest, this is what I see as realistic. You and I have talked about this. What does Lyft have? We joked about how they were going to be in the food space. I don't even think that ever happened. But when we researched that, if you remember, that was like weird. That was like a website of, I don't even remember, a horrible website that was going to merge with Lyft and try and deliver food. Maybe you don't remember that, but we did it here on your show. So
I remember. Yeah. And
so it just never happened though. They don't do anything.
Right. Well, it was, yeah. That was all a bunch of smoke and mirrors anyway.
Right. But that's, I guess I get back to my point. What is Lyft doing? I mean, other than losing tons of money and stuff, like I know Uber is too, but Uber is diversified. Uber is global. Lyft isn't even in Canada anymore. They're only in the United States. So they've really just whittled it down to they're here and they're failing.
Gotcha.
I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting thought. All right. Hey, we got to run out here for just a couple minutes on the radio side. We'll be right back. You're listening to TNCRadio.LiVE on a Friday night. Tom Kelly, along with, I can't even say my own name. It's been a long
Tom
week.
Kelly.
That's right. Right here, TNCRadio.LiVE, along with Steve from Rideshare Rodeo. Stay tuned.
Hey, it's a really short read to read the landline media about the AB5. Did you see that?
Mm-mm.
So in the Can Algorithms Be Fair article at the very bottom, the last article, it's a short read. You might want to take a look. Actually, I'd like.
Yeah, no, you jump in there on that. That'd be good.
Okay.
Let's see.
Let me see if I remember what was the. Also, hey guys, what's up? What's up? Oh yeah, no problem, man. Thank you for joining us and singing. I'm just reading something here real quick, you guys. I know dead air is the worst. Maybe I won't get into that because I'm having trouble with where my mic stand is. It's blocking everything I can read. So
you don't have enough. You don't have enough screens.
Well, no, I actually bought a thing that's going to go right behind this that has a laptop little thing, and then it has a screen holder that can move around on my desk.
Good.
So it's going to be perfect. Yeah. There's some upgrades coming to this government-issued internet in my desk. So, yeah. We talked about that a little last night too. Let me see if what I remember about this being weird, because there was something strange in here too. California has taken the AB5 thing. Both those that'll be next week. I'll put something together. We can start that next week because I know the truckers will want to hear this joke. But I'll actually put a piece together for that, because I'm working on an independent contractor article for Moves Financial right now, like what it is to be an independent contractor in the gig economy. So I'm going to take a couple of these articles, like Uber enters into 8.4 million settlement over misclassification lawsuit, the 100 million in New Jersey 2 days ago, the 8.4 in California this week, the AB5 and what it's doing to the truckers. I'm going to put it all together for a thing next week, because I don't think there's also enough time to really get in.
Okay.
Plus it'll make Jason have to think. So I like making Jason use his brain.
All right, coming back here and oh man, push the wrong button on that. Coming back here in 3, 2, 1.
Sitting here feeling neglected, I'm dashing but it's hectic. I need more money and I know just what to do. I'll listen to all my favorite tubers at Grubhub and Uber.
All right, welcome back in TNCRadio.LiVE. Happy to have you with us on a fine Friday evening. Weather across the nation not looking too bad. Getting a bit warm though. We got kind of a kickback in summer going on throughout the Midwest, but the Northeast looking nice, and rain throughout the Gulf Coast, especially around Florida, getting soaked this evening. Steve, what you got next for us on your list of things from UberLiftDrivers.com?
Let me see, because there was we didn't even get to it last night. We tried, but there was a thing about stupid government issued internet. Okay, so Uber now offers the electric car service in 25 cities. We've talked about this, but it is growing pretty big. I'm looking at the map. If you go to UberLiftDrivers.com, Tom, and the last story from is it today? No, from yesterday. It shows the map. It shows Denver, and then it shows East Coast, Texas, and the West Coast. And these are all cities where, like, now you can rent and drive. You can order Uber Comfort Electric in a handful of cities. So premium EVs like Tesla, Polestar, Ford Mustang Mach-E are eligible for comfort trips. Now we've had that going on here for a minute, but now it's in Atlanta, Austin, Baltimore, Boston, Charlotte, Chicago, Connecticut, Dallas, Denver, Houston, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Miami, New Jersey, New York City suburbs, Philadelphia, Portland, Sacramento, San Antonio, San Diego, San Francisco, Seattle, St. Louis, and Vancouver, Canada, and Washington, D.C. I mean, I'm pointing this out because, like, probably 2 months ago, there was like 5 cities. So this is pretty quick growth, man. And I guess, like for rideshare people, I'm glad this is happening a little bit. I'm glad that they're finding ways to rent, like my friend Driven Dad here in Tony here in Denver. He drives a rented Tesla. He has 2 vehicles that he could use, but he drives the rented Tesla because doing rideshare, he gets paid more. He's able to qualify on the bigger pay levels, but he also gets tipped better and stuff. So he makes more money. So it always, before we had all these high gas prices, we used to talk about, like, do you really make more though when it's all said and done, because you're paying all that much more? But here's the coolest thing is that if you do one of these rental programs, because of the way that their maintenance and everything works, like here and this isn't through Hertz or anything. There's just some private companies here in Denver that do it. So he's renting it. He does all of his gig work out of it. But to rent it, when he first told me the price of whatever it is, $500 a week, I was like, damn, dude, like, it's going to kill you. But here's the thing. With that comes full 100% commercial insurance every second you use it. You're covered for anything you do. You're covered for anything that happens, act of God type stuff. It has everything. So you're getting the insurance, you're getting the car. It used to be questionable when gas was a reasonable price, and I know it's going down a bit, but when gas got real high, I mean, he was killing it, dude. He was killing it. Oh, and it includes your charging stations.
Okay. Which charging stations?
For Teslas.
Okay.
So he has the Tesla, commercial insurance, and can work all the platforms. And he rents it at $500 a week, and he gets all of his charging for free. I used to question the 500 as a high number, but now it doesn't seem that high because I know he makes, he might make, I know this month he's going for 10 grand.
Is that right?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're going to have to take off $2 grand for business expenses, that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, we've got a caller coming in here, Steve. Let me check this caller here real quick. Hello, caller. Thank you for joining us this evening on a Friday night Driver Nation. Who do we have with us?
Hello there. It is Bill Waldrop in Houston, Texas. How are you guys?
What's up, Bill?
Hey, bud. How are you?
Good. How are you, man? I haven't heard from you in forever.
Well, yeah. It's been a long time. Miss talking to you guys. Thought I'd call in and say hello and see how everybody's doing in Driver Nation.
Awesome.
Well,
Were your ears ringing? Because I was talking about you earlier.
And what were you saying about me?
No, I mean, it was just weird because we were talking about the police, and I was like, this, and I was mentioning, I was just talking to Tom about how this would have mattered to you, the situation we were talking about, and it's been a minute probably since we've had a story that related where it made me think of you right away. So I just was like wondering, did he hear us? His ears were ringing something. I don't know.
Well, I have ESPN, so I knew that. So
I know, and I have ESPN too, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So can you tell me briefly what the story was about?
Yeah, so Bill, we had an occasion earlier this week out in Hollywood where the police responded to what appeared to be a shooting at a high school. They cordoned off the area. Family gathered. People were running around, but they got the yellow tape up. In the midst of all of this, one of these food delivery robots drove right through the crime scene.
Oh no!
Oh yes, and past the SWAT team, past the bomb squad, and right through the middle of the crime scene. And Steve had an interesting observation there that really concerned him, and figured you might pick up on it as well. When you hear something like that, what kind of occurs to you that makes that particularly dangerous?
And wait, before you answer though, let me give you the last part of it. So, okay, he got under the tape. He was actually stuck at a pole, and a cameraman moved him. He got under the tape, got into the crime scene, past the SWAT, past the bomb squad, past the police department, and got over to where the parents were. So even the parents had arrived on scene, and they're all there. This is all set up as an operational. It's all going at full force. And this Ubereats robot goes all the way through that to the parents.
Do we know who ordered the Uber Eats? Was it the barricaded suspect that ordered
it? No, it was completely unrelated to the crime scene.
I'm looking for a deeper answer.
I wouldn't be too concerned about it. No.
Why not?
No, that wouldn't surprise me. And I don't think it would affect the scene really.
Well, but here's the thing that I think Steve picked up on that's pretty wise. What we're seeing, of course, in other countries when there's terroristic things is they bring out the first responders, and then here's the real explosion. They have a minor explosion or a minor incident. The first responders show up, then they blow them up. And Steve's concern was, why did everybody just let this thing roll by when it could have been strapped with whatever? And could have made, if that thing had gone over to the parents and then been, an active bomb of some kind or whatever, this would have made a real mess.
Well,
or even how did the bomb squad not care? Or not care? How did they not recognize this as, hey, do we know what's in there? No.
Well, I think because it was a sudden situation of a barricaded suspect. There was no real pre-planning of this, where a bomb-carrying robot could have been brought into the scene. I think it was just obviously a coincidence, because that would take a lot of coordination to set up the location and assemble the bomb. This was a very fluid, very fast-acting scene of a barricaded suspect. So something like that would not have been. I don't think it would have been viable to even. But couldn't
it have been coordinated that the person who had the Uber robot, again, remember, if you haven't seen them, they look like coolers, so you don't know what's inside. But they stand about 2 feet tall. Couldn't it have been that the person called in a shooter to this school and put that robot out?
Oh, I mean, a swatting situation.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Yeah, I guess so, but I don't know. That's an interesting angle to look at it. That's a lot of trouble to go to do that. But
Tom called me a psychopath for thinking.
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant thing that he came up with, but it's brilliantly evil, and it makes me wonder about Steve a little bit as far as where his temperament is and all of this.
I was thinking about the police.
Yeah, I've seen those food delivery robots before at the University of Houston, here in Houston, Texas. And those things are all over the campus. They've got, the McDonald's and all the different restaurants all around the campus. And these things are rolling 24 hours a day down the sidewalks. And they're amazing machines. And they've been doing it for years. So I don't know. This was at a college campus, right?
High school.
High school.
Oh, high school.
Hollywood High School.
Yeah.
Well, that's because at a college campus, that wouldn't be surprising. I think at a high school, that would probably be not as common to have a food robot in a high school.
I wouldn't.
Of course, I've never been to Hollywood. I don't know.
But Hollywood High School, you could probably sit in there in algebra class and order up a Big Mac or something. But
right, but Hollywood High School has like 2 sets of metal detectors and guards, and it's like a prison in there. Don't you think that? That's right downtown too. Like, don't you think that? And LA police are pretty trained, man. I don't know. I would have thought they would have gone, get that thing out of here.
Yeah, I would have thought so too. Hey guys.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised because of the tenseness of the situation that they did not disable it or move it or block it or put it in a bomb truck or something. So.
Kick it over on its side, something.
Well, there you go. Yeah, that would have done it.
Yeah, something. Okay, guys. Hey, I tell you what, we're just about out of time. Wrapping things up here on a Friday night. Driver Nation, TNCRadio.LiVE. That's Bill Waltrip. You can hear Bill and myself every weekday morning starting at 8 a.m. Central Time, doing news, traffic, weather, sports, and whatever else may come before us. We have a lot of laughs and talk about what's going on around the nation and what drivers need to know for them to be successful, looking at industry news, all that kind of good stuff. And then also with us, of course, is Steve from Rideshare Nation. Rideshare Nation. Did I say that really? Rodeo. Rideshare Rodeo. Sorry. Rideshare Rodeo. Check us out there where we simulcast this program on his YouTube channel, so you can catch us there, see our smiling faces. And one of these days, Bill, you'll end up with a Friday night where you can rejoin us and spend the whole 2 hours with us and catch up on what's going on with you and the things you've been working on and what else is going on in the rideshare world. And I'm going to sneeze.
That sounds good. I look forward to being back with you guys.
Well, you should try and make it in the next 2 weeks because we're unsure of when the year anniversary is. And if we knew that you were coming, we'd make it that day.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, Tom knows now how to get a hold of me. Let me know if you'll remind me on Friday night.
Well, we always love having you here. So
that'd be great. Okay, guys, I appreciate it. Y'all have a good weekend.
All right. You've been listening to
have a good one, Bill.
Live. We're going to go out live here with our song from Let's Play Doordash. Go to Let's Play Doordash on your YouTube channel as well.
Sitting here feeling neglected, I'm dashing but it's hectic. I need more money and I know just what to do. I'll listen to all my favorite tubers at Grubhub and the Ubers. Multi-apping makes more money, it's true. Now I must admit, I'm so much happier working for me. Accept decline, the decision's mine, and man, that feels so free. I may not know where I'm going or what this order may be, but I must admit, I'm so much happier working for me. Now nothing quite affects me like the no tips that I can't see. Come on, par, I hope you win the fight. 'Cause DoorDash is so shady, and I'd like to know that they paid me for all the work that I've done tonight. Now I must admit, I'm so much happier working for me. When times are hard, I just jump in the car and make that sweet money. I may not know where I'm going or what this.
All right, stay tuned next for an episode of Rideshare Rodeo and the Gig Economy Podcast coming up back to back right here on TNCRadio.Live. We'll catch you again right here next Friday on Driver Nation. Stay tuned. All right, guys, we are out on the radio side.
All right.
And I'm going to take us out on this side.
Guys.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for dialing in. Appreciate it, Bill.
Good to talk to you, Bill.
Good weekend.
All right.
Okay, you too, bud. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Steve, for everything.
Yeah.
And thank you for listening on YouTube and watching, putting up with us tonight. And it was a very interesting discussion. And you're going to put some stuff together on AB5. Is that what you were saying earlier?
Yeah, and as it affects the truckers, because I'm doing an independent contractor piece, like a written piece for Moves Financial right now for their blog. And so when that's done, I think I'll be even more able to put this together, and that'll be before Friday. So I'm going to try and just kind of put together, instead of it just being an article we read or get into, I'm going to actually have it be my article, maybe.
Cool. All right.
We'll tear mine apart.
All right.
But yeah, thanks guys for joining us, and we'll see you back here next week.
All right. Y'all take care. And you've been listening to TNCRadio.LiVE, Driver Nation. Stay tuned next. Well, do you have anything next coming up on your stuff, Steve? What should people listen to?
I don't. And as far as Friday nights, I'm not. If you're looking for something, if you gig workers looking for somewhere to go and talk about some gig talk, go check out Flex's Lounge. He runs that on Friday nights, and that's always as long as you don't mind language, that's always a fun time. So, or
just keep listening here, Gig Economy Podcast, and catch Steve on an episode of Rideshare Rodeo. If you've never listened to his stuff, this is a great way to find out about it and decide for yourself if if you want to download more of his stuff. Hopefully you do. All right, we're out of here.
See you guys. Have a good weekend.
Thanks.